Finally, we are back with high school sports courtesy of Suburban Community Channels. Good evening, everybody. We welcome you to George Smith Field here in Mahtomedi, Minnesota, as the Zephyrs, the 7th-ranked Mahtomedi Zephyrs boys lacrosse team, are taking on the St. Thomas Academy Cadets. Starting things off for St. Thomas Academy, already working into the Mahtomedi zone. For the starters for St. Thomas Academy on attack, we have Alex Stanley and Matt Hudson. Midfielders Colton Zweifel, Luke Passell, and Tommy Simmons. On defense, Max Condon, Hunter Carver, and Dominic Castro. And in goal for the Cadets is Gabe Meisterling. I'll get the Zephyr starters here for you shortly as we have a ball that gets tossed out of bounds. Chasing after it there for the Cadets is Alex Stanley. Lacrosse is a little bit unique from other sports in the sense that when the ball goes out of bounds, you see him chasing after it quickly like that because the player that's closest to the ball when it goes out of the bounds is the one that retains possession. Once again, thanks very much for joining us here, folks. I wish I could say that it was a beautiful Friday spring evening here in Minnesota, but it's definitely a cloudy, rainy day. It's not too chilly, but the windmill at the corner of the field is cooking like crazy out there. So rainy, drizzly, and super windy tonight for this Metro East Conference matchup between the rivals Mahtomedi Zephyrs and St. Thomas Academy Cadets. On the offensive side of the ball now for the Zephyrs, trying to work it in there, is Jack Zell, and he gets a shot off and he scores, lights the lamp early for the Zephyrs. As we are not even 2 minutes into this contest, it's a minute and 43 seconds in. That is Jack Zell for Mahtomedi, the senior midfielder, who just kind of worked his way right down the key for the Zephyrs and took it in unassisted, rifled a shot, and he was able to beat Meisterling. So the Zephyrs come out hot, come out fast, and they take an early lead here on the Cadets. Very important early lead for them. Taking a quick second here to look at those Mahtomedi Zephyrs. They come into this game 3-1 on the young season, whereas the St. Thomas Academy Cadets have a 1-2 record. The Zephyrs, in contests that they've played at home thus far, are 1-1. As they played home contests against Wayzata, and then on Wednesday they faced off here against Centennial. That was their only loss of the season, as they dropped that in a close 6-5 contest. For St. Thomas Academy, 1-2 on the year, but both of their losses have been really tight as they dropped a pair of 9-8 losses to Woodbury and Blake. And Blake's undefeated to start the year at 4-0. So even though the St. Thomas Academy Cadets come out and have a below 500 record, they've squared off against some good competition. Woodbury, of course, coming out of the Suburban East Conference. We're familiar with them as they take on the White Bear Lake Bears pretty regularly. We were supposed to cover them earlier, in fact, but earlier this season. But most of our contests, well, actually all of them up to this point, have been rained out. So this is our first spring contest of the year. Nice save there from Meisterling on the shot. And the Cadets will turn around and bring it upfield. That is Carter Stahl who's bringing it up for the Cadets. Shot there on from Matt Hudson goes wide, but getting it first there for the Cadets behind the goal was Colton Zweifel, and he'll look for a centering opportunity, just kind of methodically working it around behind the Zephyr net. Cadets are content to take their time here and work things around. Bringing it out on the side there is Matt Hudson. Hudson was trying to work against Jack Holm there for the Zephyrs. And the shot on is saved. Starting goaltender for the Zephyrs there, Caden Donahue, who made the save. And he'll kind of slowly bring it up. He'll look for the open man. Not finding anything. He's just going to keep going as nobody's challenging him. He's all the way across midfield, going down the 40, the 30. He's going to take it all the way in for a shot. That is a little bit unorthodox, but almost work. But now nobody in net for the Zephyrs, as St. Thomas will look to try and capitalize on this. Working it up the right side there is Sam Fulton for the Cadets. He centers it. Pass, shot, score. St. Thomas Academy's Matt Hudson, the captain attacker for the Cadets, with the shot from right out front in the slot. Does the Dougie afterwards in a nice celebration. And the Cadets have already earned the equalizer to make things 1-1. So not even 4 minutes into this contest, we had a goal first for Mahtomedi early on, a minute and 43 in from Jack Zell. And then the Cadets answer back not even 2 minutes later. At the, I believe it was the 3:56 mark. I believe it was 3:56 mark. So Hudson with the goal for the Cadets. And the Cadets right back on the offensive, working it down behind the Zephyr net. Couple of Zephyr defenders there pressuring tightly, trying to prevent the centering attack from coming out. And the Cadets working around. Beautifully shot, rings off of the post and bounces all the way back out to center field. But it's batted back into the offensive zone for the Cadets, but an errant pass goes back the other way. And picking it up there for Mahtomedi is Jackson Johnson, and he'll work it around the outside. We have a whistle, and possession will go back to the Cadets. Trying to work it up the outside there for the Cadets is Dominic Castro. But he was stymied, and we get a whistle, and the ball is turned over. So Mahtomedi will retain possession now and try to work it into the offensive zone of the Cadets. The freshman for Mahtomedi there, number 25, Landon Cruzy, working it around the outside. Trying to bring it in tight there was Jack Zell, already with a goal on the game, but he couldn't quite find anything. So Cruzy gets it back. He's working down, looking for the opportunity. Shot, and it is saved there. So after the save by Meisterling, the Cadet, and turnover coming back the other way for the Zephyrs now. Jackson Johnson couldn't quite handle the pass there, but it's scooped up quickly by Eric Butke. He'll look to dish it to his teammate, but that gets tossed out of bounds, and St. Thomas Academy will retain possession. So things kind of even here early on. Neither team really dominating possession. Lacrosse super unique in the sense that only half the team will be able to play at a certain time in the game. If the ball's on the offensive side, then the defense just waits for the ball to come back down the field, and vice versa. Possibly the only sport I've ever seen where you will get penalized as the defense if you try to come into the offensive zone. St. Thomas Academy works it around now. That's Ute who's trying to work it in. Charlie Ute, the junior midfielder for them, and he lost the ball, but it's quickly scooped up there by Hudson. Hudson slings it across. Working in now is Hussaby. Shot there, didn't quite go. That's Brooks Bond for the Cadets. Brooks Bond tried to find his teammate behind the net, but they couldn't quite connect on the pass there, so the Zephyrs will take over. 4:53 to go here in the first quarter here at George Smith Field. My name is David Schuyler, producer for Suburban Community Channels. Also airing on Town Square Television, since Town Square Television covers the Cadets, and the Cadets strike and take the lead for the first time in this game. Another goal from Matt Hudson. Looked like the Zephyrs just couldn't quite get possession there in the front of the net, and Matt Hudson scooped it up in the slot. The goalie was way out of position, Caden Donahue. So Hudson just scooped it up and tossed it in for his second goal of the game. Here's another look at that one as Hudson, yeah, exactly. So Hudson just scooped up a loose ball in front of the net and just rifled it home to give St. Thomas Academy a 2-1 lead. So after the Hudson goal, his second of the game, the Cadets retain possession. Oh, huge. Oh, 2 saves there. Real big saves for Donahue out front. A couple of real quick shots for the Cadets there, and he was flying all over the place to make those saves. That was amazing for Donahue to keep the Cadets off the board. But then we have a flag that throws, and it looks like there was a cross-check that was called on Mahtomedi. So the Cadets will get possession right back as we get some substitutions coming in. For the Cadets now, starting off the possession here will be Huzabi, the junior midfielder. Huzabi, Hudson, and Ute are working around the top, the trio of midfielders for the Cadets. But the Zephyrs doing a nice job of keeping things tight and keeping the Cadets to the outside here, not really giving them a lot of opportunities up the middle except for the last goal that we saw. But I think that was largely credited to the mishandling and mispositioning there from Donahue. As the Cadets continue to work it to the outside. Quick shot there, bounces off the post, ricochets all the way out to midfield, and is tried to scoop up there. It is... Everybody's just kind of kicking it around for the moment. Nobody can pick it up. And now it's the Zephyrs who come away from it. Running down the right side for them is Oscar Magnuson, the leading scorer on the year. He dishes it all the way across to Jackson Johnson, and Johnson scores for the Zephyrs. Great pass there all the way across the field to Jackson Johnson that came from Oscar Magnuson. Those two connect. And the Zephyrs have tied things up here with 3:07 to go in the first quarter.
Number 1, Jackson Johnson. Assisted by number 7, Oscar Magnuson. Time of the first quarter goal, 3:07.
After the face-off, the Zephyrs will take possession and bring it down into the Cadets zone. Well, that was fast. Barely had time to say anything at all and get my notes written down for the goal, and we have another goal for the Zephyrs. Once again, it is Magnuson who dishes it over to Johnson, and those two connect for the Zephyrs' third goal of the game. The second for Johnson in a matter of seconds. About 4 seconds later. So that is Johnson's second goal of the game, and just like that, Mahtomedi is back out front. So we started off with Mahtomedi taking the 1-goal lead. St. Thomas Academy was able to answer and then take the lead afterwards, and now Mahtomedi has responded in kind, scoring 2 goals in a matter of 4 seconds. I believe it was 4 seconds. Yeah, 4 seconds. And now the Zephyrs are back out in front 3-2 in the closing minutes here of the first quarter. The Cadets will work it around the outside now and bring it behind the Zephyr goal. That is Alex Stanley who's working it around for the Cadets. He'll dish it off to his teammate there, Hudson. Hudson tries to bring it out front, was looking for a centering attempt there, but not being able to handle the ball was Brooks Bond for the Cadets. Cadets will continue to work it around. That's their dangerous weapon right there. Matt Hudson. Hudson already with both goals for the Cadets, and a sliding save is made there by goaltender Caden Donahue for the Zephyrs. Working it back down now. Jackson Johnson there chasing after the ball. He'll gather possession for the Zephyrs and slow things down a little bit behind the net. And now the Zephyrs will work to sling it around the top of the St. Thomas Academy zone. Jack Zell brings it in. Zell looking for an opening, can't quite find one. Turnover now as nobody can quite handle it. And grabbing it for the Cadets there is Max Candon. Candon will bring it up. He's got the long pole on defense for the St. Thomas Academy Cadets. He'll look for a pass all the way across the field there. Couldn't quite find a man, but they got a lucky bounce. So now the Cadets will bring it in the offensive zone, and they had a 2-on-1 look there. Streaking down the center of the field for the Cadets is Charlie Ute. He takes the pass and rifles it home to knot things back up at 3 apiece. So a bit of a miscue there for Mahtomedi, as ultimately they were left with only one defender in between Charlie Ute and the goal. And he had the option, if he wanted to, he could have slid it back door, but opted for the rifle shot instead and was able to get it past Donahue. Not much of a chance there for Donahue. Had to decide in the moment to play the shot or play the pass, and did about as much as he could. So we have a 3-3 game with under a minute to go here in the first quarter. Working it back down the field now here for Mahtomedi. And back out to the middle there is Oscar Magnuson. Ooh, a big hit laid on there from Jordan Wold of the Cadets, as he delivers a body to Isaac Wendorf. The Zephyrs will be content to work things around behind the net now. They'll scoop up the loose ball. And working it around now for the Zephyrs is Nolan Dimitri. He centers it, shot, and that goes wide, but is scooped up there behind the net. Trying to work down to the middle here is Johnson. He's got 2 seconds left, has to rifle it, does so, and it's saved there. Meisterling makes the save for the Cadets, and just like that, we end the first quarter in a 3-3 tie. So to recap how things went there in the first quarter, early on for Mahtomedi, 1:43 into the quarter, Jack Zell gave the Zephyrs the early lead. And St. Thomas Academy was able to answer back with a pair of goals from Matt Hudson. And then Mahtomedi answered in kind, as they had 2 goals, both of them coming from Jackson Johnson, to give the Zephyrs a 3-2 lead, but then St. Thomas Academy answered back towards the end of the quarter to knot things up. Taking a look at the teams here coming into this game, Mahtomedi is one of the better defensive teams in the state, only allowing 3.5 goals per game. It is still a young season, but the head coach, first-year head coach, Michael Narrow, has to like what he sees there. 1-1 record at home this season for the Zephyrs. On the other side, for St. Thomas Academy coming into this game, they had a huge offensive output a few days ago when they played Two Rivers and ended up winning that game 22-1. So that certainly helps their cause, as they have 12.7 goals per game, as opposed to only giving up 6.3 goals per game. So coming into this game, these two have definitely started to build a bit of a rivalry in the conference, usually ending up near the top of the conference. Right now, there hasn't been many conference games played as St. Thomas Academy dispatched Two Rivers, so they're near the top of the conference with Hastings as well. And this is Mahtomedi's first conference game of the season, so they have yet to pick up any points. And rounding out the bottom of the conference, Simley and Two Rivers both seeking their first wins on the season. Unfortunately, Tartan and North St. Paul were unable to have a team this year as they didn't have enough players come out, so all of their conference games were scratched. Last time these two teams met, a year ago, April 22nd, 2021, it was St. Thomas Academy who came away with the narrow 11-9 victory over the Zephyrs. And that is the continuation of a streak for the Cadets, as they actually own 3 wins in a row over the Zephyrs, the last 3 being 11-9, 11-8, and 10-7. And then before that, it was the Zephyrs who had a streak running back the previous 7 games before that. And last season, actually, both of these teams were incredibly good and looking to continue that this year as well, as last year St. Thomas Academy was a team that made it to the state tournament and ultimately lost to Stillwater in the state tournament. And Mahtomedi was 1 win away from the state tournament, as they ended up losing to that Stillwater team in the section finals. But here we go, starting off the second quarter is St. Thomas Academy, who begins with possession as they'll look to work things around the outside of the zone. But they mishandled a pass there, so now there's a mad scramble for it behind the net, and Mahtomedi will come away with the ball as they are the first ones to get to it there. A steady rain starting to come down now as all the fans in the stands have taken to putting up their umbrellas, and they are whipping around as they try to hold on to dear life and not get soaked. 2-on-1 now here for the Cadets if they hurry, and they take it, they shoot, and they score! Brooks Bond for the Cadets. 41 seconds into the second quarter, and just like that, the Cadets have a 4-3 lead. A turnover there was created. Bond scooped it up, said thank you very much, and rifled it past Donahue to give the Cadets the lead again. Taking the face-off now for the Cadets, that will be Luke Purcell. And for Mahtomedi, trying to work it out of there is Owen Knapp, as it looked like the Zephyrs were going to get possession, but it's quickly scooped up there and slung the other way by St. Thomas Academy. But Mahtomedi quickly gets possession right back as an errant pass goes all the way out the back end, and they're the first ones there to scoop it up. Donahue now will look to work it out. And he slung it all the way down the field. Picked up there by Oscar Magnuson for the Zephyrs, and he'll just take his time and sling it all the way around the back of the Cadets zone behind the net. He gets cross-checked there, so a whistle is blown. Oh, I'm not quite sure what. I thought that there was a foul there that was called on the Cadets, but instead they will get possession. And goalie Meisterling will play catch with his defenders as they look to move it up to the midfield area. And they are successfully able to do so, as Charlie Ute will work it into the Zephyr zone. Slinging it around behind the Zephyr net now are the Cadets. Bringing it in is Ute. He looks for a shot, but that was slung well wide. But the Cadets should retain possession as they had both of their attackers back there looking to get things out. Little bit of a slower pace, just a bit of a slower pace. Big stop there as a check was laid from Mahtomedi's Dominic Rohrer. The big man was not happy with that call. It looked like it was a clean hit to me from up here, but difficult to tell, so a flag will be thrown, and the Zephyrs will have to play a man down for a while, as that's Rohrer going to the penalty box. So one less defender for the Zephyrs here, and the Cadets will look to take advantage of the opportunity, as they'll work it around the top of the zone, trying to move things in. Real short, quick passes here for the Cadets, trying to take advantage of the man-up situation, as they have 6 guys in the offensive zone as opposed to the Zephyrs' 5. It'll be 1 minute total time that the Zephyrs will be down a man. Didn't quite catch when this started in the first place, but I'd have to imagine we're about halfway through that. Oh, a nice stick there from the Zephyrs' Flores, and he'll look to work it out. Flores with a great play with the long stick. He'll bring it in the offensive zone, look for some help, gets it. Working out to the front of the net for the Zephyrs was Knapp, but Knapp could not capitalize. Big save there from Meisterling, and the Cadets will work it back the other way into the offensive zone. Another great stick there on defense for the Zephyrs. Has a mad dash happening for the ball. Nobody can quite claim it, and it's Zweifel who comes away with it for the Cadets. And we get a we get a whistle here, and a timeout is taken on the field. So the Zephyrs still a man down for a little bit, as they're without Dominic Rohrer, but it won't last much longer here. In the first quarter, we had 6 goals that were scored, and thus far in the second quarter here, 3 minutes and 19 seconds into things, we have only seen 1 goal thus far, as it's St. Thomas Academy who took the lead over the Zephyrs on the goal from number 11, senior captain Brooks Bond. For the Cadets coming into the game, Hudson, who we've mentioned a couple times with a pair of goals in this game, leads them in all scoring, as he has 15 goals in 3 games played. 6 assists for 21 points on the young season, followed by Adam Huzaby, who has 8 goals and 4 assists for the Cadets for 12 points. And Charlie Ute has 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. So some guys whose names we mention regularly. The nice thing about lacrosse is you're going to have a pretty good sense of who's going to do all the scoring, because you have the same players that are going to be on the front end of the field, and the defenders will always stay on their second half of the field. So you'll be able to figure out pretty quickly who the usual suspects are that'll be doing the scoring for both teams. We'll get to the Zephyrs scoring leaders when we get a chance, but the ball is back in play as the timeout is over, and play resumes as the Cadets look to work it around behind the Zephyr goal. Number of Cadets now work it around, content to sling things around to the outside and either try to get an open look or hope for the man in the middle to get open. But a great stick there from the Zephyrs, and we're going back the other way. And for the first time in what seems like a while, the Zephyrs, I actually think it's the first time this quarter, the Zephyrs will be able to set up in the offensive zone, and they don't even need to, as they get the quick strike. The goal there for the Zephyrs scored by number 3, Owen Knapp. They didn't even need to get things set up in the offensive zone. It was worked down the left side all the way streaking to the net for the Zephyrs, and then the ball was dished out front to Owen Knapp, and he tucked it in. And just like that, things are all square. Only about the second offensive zone possession for the Zephyrs in this quarter. As the first one, I recall, was a big save from Meisterling, but on this one, Meisterling couldn't quite make the save, as Knapp was able to slip it by him. And now things are all square with 8:04 to go here in the second quarter. The Cadets will take over after the faceoff, and just like that, they answer it right back for the Cadets. There he is, Matt Hudson, the senior captain, picking up his third of the game. And that draw did not last long whatsoever. A great play there from the Cadets as they were able to sling the ball around very quickly, work it behind the goal. They passed it up, and it looked like they just kind of caught the Zephyr defense napping. Hudson grabbed it and slung it in as fast as he could. And the Cadets are back on top. Behind the net, out in front of the net, back of the net. 5-4 lead for the Cadets. So 10 seconds later, after the Zephyr goal, it's Hudson who scores for the Cadets, as they'll take things down into the Zephyr zone and try to build on this lead, but kind of a crazy errant pass there that just didn't get anywhere close to the man. And Mahtomedi will take over as Rohrer starts to bring it out. And he dishes off to Nate Pagansky, and Pagansky will work it all the way down the sideline. And we'll see if Mahtomedi can't set up the offensive zone and really slow things down and work it to their advantage here for the first time in the second quarter. That's Isaac Wendorf for the Zephyrs, carrying the ball all the way around. And he'll just keep it moving all the way around behind the Cadets net as he looks for somebody out front. All the Zephyrs are just kind of standing still and watching him go to work. And now it's Nolan Dimitri, the junior for the Zephyrs, who looks like he was considering doing the same exact thing, but opts instead to pass it behind the net. Working it out front now. Here is Johnson. Johnson opts for a pass as he couldn't find a way to work it into the middle. Mad dash for the ball there. And that is scooped up by the Zephyrs. There's no, oh, there's a correction. Dimitri there with the ball as he dishes it over to Eric Granick. And Granick slung a shot that went wide of the net. But Mahtomedi is able to chase after it, and they are the first ones there, so they'll retain possession and keep this offensive zone series going. The rain continues to fall here at George Smith Field, but the rain certainly hasn't deterred the action in the slightest, as both teams have had a bunch of scoring chances, a bunch of offensive zone opportunities, and we have a really tight game here just over halfway through the second quarter. Working it down the right side there, looking for the opening for Mahtomedi was Granick, but he couldn't quite take advantage. So St. Thomas will work it back up as the defenders and Meisterling play catch a little bit. And one pass all the way down the Zephyr zone. Ooh, a nice spin move there from Buckmeyer. And Buckmeyer will just take it himself and work all the way down into the Cadets zone and look to get things set back up for Mahtomedi. Buckmeyer now dishes back off to Wendorf. And Wendorf goes to sub out. as the ball gets worked behind the or over to the side of the cadet zone. Charging in now for Mahtomedi and firing a shot was Jack Zell, but the big save there from Meisterling just barely kept that out. And Meisterling will look to start things back out for the cadets. So only 3 goals scored thus far in this quarter for both teams, as we have 2 from St. Thomas Academy and 1 from Mahtomedi. So the defense has been able to step up in a big way this quarter and limit the scoring for both teams. As working it all the way around the outside here for Mahtomedi is Dardis, and Dardis whistled there for, I'm not quite sure what. I thought he got slashed by the cadets defender, but instead it's St. Thomas Academy who is awarded possession by the referee. So they'll get the free offensive zone possession as Sam Fulton brings it in for them. Dishes it way down low to Zweifel. And things will get set up deep in the Mahtomedi zone. St. Thomas being methodical with their approach. Tried to sling a shot from the 25-yard line was Brooks Bond for the cadets, but that one was slung well wide. And they scoop it up back there. They're able to retain possession. Work things around the outside. We're pretty regularly seeing Brooks Bond and Matt Hudson do the leadership at the top of the key for the cadets offense. Coming back the other way now for Mahtomedi, though, is Jack Dardis. As he'll work it in and try to slow things down. The top of the key seems to kind of swap out regularly for Mahtomedi as they look to find some kind of offensive pressure. We've seen a couple of different combinations, but a lot of Jack Zell, the senior midfielder up there. Landon Cruzy, freshman, now in for the Zephyrs, and Granick. So Zell, Granick, and Cruzy will head up the Zephyr attack at the top of the key, and working things down low right now for them is Jackson Johnson, and he slips and falls. First time we've seen that as a result of the rain. But getting over there to scoop things up for the Zephyrs and keep the possession is Owen Knapp. Magnuson now, the freshman, slung it over to Johnson. Johnson's shot went wide, ricocheted off of a cadets defender, and Johnson's not too thrilled about that attempt. But the Zephyrs will retain possession as they look to work it in now. There was almost an opening for a left-handed shot there from Cruzy, but it couldn't quite go. And the cadets force a turnover. Take it back down the other way, and it's Ute. Ute dished it all the way down to the side of the net, and they tried to tuck it in there, but making the big stop for the Zephyrs was Donahue. Coming back the other way now is Marchant, the defender for Mahtomedi. He'll dish it off and get back off the field and swap out for a quick change. As we get a whistle now. And I believe a timeout on the field is called as the players run off the field. As the rain continues to fall here at George Smith Field, things have definitely slowed down here in the second quarter. Haven't seen a goal now in a while, as we got one back at the 4:06 mark coming from St. Thomas Academy's Matt Hudson that gave the cadets the lead. And since then, there's been a peppering of shots, but none that really have been able to find the net itself. A lot of them have been slung wide. A lot of just working things around the outside of the zone. We're not seeing too many chances in the middle of the slot the way we did in the first quarter. So, and that could be attributed to the defenses of both teams buckling down and making sure things stay to the outside. And for me, if I am the head coaches for the Zephyrs, if I'm Michael Narrow and Frank Clark for the Cadets, then I'm just happy with limiting the chances to shots from the outside, because it seems like Donahue and Meisterling have been up to the task, stopping all of the shots that have come their way from outside. So as we come back out of the timeout, I believe it's Mahtomedi who will retain possession here in their zone, or in the offensive zone, excuse me. No, it's actually St. Thomas Academy who will be awarded possession. So they'll start things off from the 20-yard line on their own side. It's Camden who will bring it out for them. A cheer comes out here from the crowd. I'm not quite sure what for. I didn't quite catch it there. Might be giving the refs an earful. I think there's been more than a couple of plays that have gone the way of the Cadets that Mahtomedi fans weren't thrilled about. But in any case, working it up the right side now for the Cadets is Hudson. He'll try to do a nice spin move, but ran into his own teammate there. Oh, slipping and falling there for the Zephyrs is Buckmeyer. So a little bit of an opening here now for Hudson, but he's quickly collapsed upon by 3 different Zephyrs. Things still being slow and methodical here for the Cadets. It seems like they are more than willing to use up all of this 30 seconds as they look for one final shot here before we get to halftime. Ball goes out of bounds, and the referee awards possession there to Mahtomedi. Spinning and trying to work his way up the field was Warwick for the Zephyrs. And he just slung the ball out of bounds. So St. Thomas will take over as they need to work quickly here. Stanley gets it up to the middle. They'll try to work in for one last shot, and they sling it, and it goes just like that. One pass, one shot, one goal for who's to be, and just like that, the Cadets take a 2-goal lead with 7 seconds left. That is not the kind of goal you want to give up if you're Mahtomedi. A goal here at the very end of the second quarter gives St. Thomas Academy all the momentum as we head into halftime. Just a real great shot around the defense there. Not a whole lot that Donahue could do. It's a shot that they're typically fine giving up, but I think it just kind of caught Donahue off guard because he thought that the defender was going to be able to take care of things there for Mahtomedi. So at the 11:53 mark, scoring for St. Thomas Academy, I didn't quite catch the number of the player that scored. I believe it might have been Bond. But after the face-off, neither team really gets possession. We come to the end of the first half. So after an eventful 24 minutes here in the first half, we had 6 goals that were scored in the first quarter, 4 goals scored in the second quarter, 3 of them coming from St. Thomas Academy. So we only had 1 Mahtomedi Zephyr goal that was scored throughout the entirety of the second quarter. And as a result, St. Thomas Academy takes a 6-4 lead into the locker rooms for the half.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
Owen, let's talk for a second.
Hi, Ellen. Come on in.
When you came into my life, it was a whirlwind.
I just can't do it.
It'll come to you.
It won't.
We had a lot to learn about each other. A lot. Hey, looks good. Things were changing so quickly. We didn't know what the future would hold. Any of us. I just wish he felt more at home now. But we knew you would always be a part of it. Adopting you was the best decision in our life. And I am so proud to call you my son.
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. One in 3 adults has prediabetes, and you could be one of them. There are usually no signs for prediabetes, so it's important to understand your risk. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. And you can change the outcome. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
Welcome back to George Smith Field here at halftime in our boys lacrosse matchup between the Mahtomedi Zephyrs and St. Thomas Academy Cadets. At the half, St. Thomas Academy with the 6-4 lead over the Zephyrs. We take a quick look now at the top 10 rankings for boys lacrosse in the young season, and a lot of these teams are staples in the lacrosse region, staples in the lacrosse world, as there we go, as Benilde, St. Margaret's, Prior Lake, and Chanhassen all were in the state tournament last year. Mahtomedi coming in at number 7, and Mahtomedi actually took down Irondale already earlier this season, so a big win for them there. And both of these teams, Mahtomedi and St. Thomas Academy, will have games remaining on their schedule the rest of the year against a couple of those top 10 teams. So far this season, Mahtomedi took down Irondale 9-5, and then they took on Wayzata out of the Lake Conference. Big win for the Zephyrs there, and then they just absolutely steamrolled Holy Angels 12-2. And then back on Wednesday of this week, they picked up their first loss of the season against Centennial, a narrow 6-5 loss here at George Smith Field, but Centennial's usually pretty good, so that is nothing to hang our heads about there. For St. Thomas Academy, they've only played 3 games thus far, as there's been a number of postponements, cancellations, and whatnot due to the wonderful Minnesota spring that we are graced with, including 35-degree days and a bunch of rain as we're getting here tonight. The Cadets have a pair of 9-8 losses to Woodbury and Blake, and then they handily were able to beat Two Rivers as they were able to find their offense and steamroll their way past the Warriors for their first win on the season. For Mahtomedi, taking a look at their schedule the rest of the way. Coming up now, they will have Northfield and then Two Rivers. Northfield in the Big 9 Conference is a team that St. Thomas Academy will also play against and usually have a pretty good team year in and year out, so that'll be a tough test there. Certainly not an easy schedule at all for Mahtomedi the rest of the way. As for St. Thomas Academy, they have a loaded schedule, about as loaded as you can make it, as they will square off against Simley in a Metro East Conference matchup in Hill Murray. And then number 3, Chanhassen, and number 1, Benilde St. Margaret's for St. Thomas Academy. So they'll really see where they're at when they get to those games. First of all, obviously having to take care of the Zephyrs in a big matchup for them here. And then they'll close out the year against Hastings, who currently sits in first place. Holy Angels, Cretendorm Hall, and then the same Northfield squad that Mahtomedi will play against. We'll be back for the second half right after this.
My name is Gary Parker. I served as a Cavalry Scout and a military policeman in the United States Army for 20 years. When I was a Cavalry Scout, we had a young lieutenant that came in, great guy, but he moved on, got promoted to lieutenant colonel, went on to Afghanistan, and I was able to keep in contact. And I'd wake up one morning, go on social media, and there's that post you don't want to see. For whatever reason, he took his own life. Nobody knows why he did it. And if there's something that we could have done to prevent it from happening, safe gun storage can prevent gun suicide, because it's that added step to get to your firearm that might just give somebody a moment of reflection on what they're doing. As a veteran, we need to be ambassadors to people that don't have the knowledge that we have. Anytime you're not storing a weapon safely, you're putting yourself and your community at risk. Service never stops.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
Tell me about it. Did you have any idea that was going on?
None. I mean, you saw Derek at the game last night too. Did you have a clue?
No, but you know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do. Kids hear first about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
It can be hard to tell sometimes, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, bullying, violence, anything, you need to tell an adult. Mom or me, a teacher, coach, school counselor, someone you know and trust.
Dad, no kid is gonna tell an adult about that kind of stuff.
I get it, but if we don't know, we can't help. Speaking up about a problem, that's what helping a friend is all about.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
real-world experience.
it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Back here at George Smith Field, getting ready for the second half, is Youth Night here at George Smith Field as we get the Zephyr youth lacrosse players out on center field, and they welcome back the Mahtomedi Zephyrs to the field as we get set for the face-off and just about ready for things to go here. David Schuyler bringing you tonight's game from Mahtomedi, Minnesota. Arlen Becker doing the directing in the truck. Steven Adams is on audio and replay for us. Up top running the cameras out in the rain, we have Ian Felix and Miranda Zabel, or Zabel. It's one of those. We thank you for joining us on SEC Sports, as we're thrilled to finally be able to bring you spring sports again. It's incredibly ironic that the first game that we get back is a drizzly night here in Mahtomedi, as all of the fans have umbrellas that are up and you can see the rain pellets bouncing off of them. We're staying dry here in the press box, thank goodness. But the players out on the field, and I reckon some of the fans are nice and wet out there. as we are just about set for things to go here now. As taking the face-off for the cadet, or for Mahtomedi, as he'll just run right in, never mind. A quick shot right out. That looked like a bit of a set play for the Zephyrs as Jackson Johnson rifled a shot. But it sails wide of the goal. Mahtomedi will retain possession. At the top of the key for the Zephyrs to start things off is Zell. Down low on the offensive course, you have Jackson Johnson, as he's got a pair of goals for the Zephyrs. Those came in the first quarter, 4 seconds apart, was a pair of goals that were both scored by Jackson Johnson, and both of them assisted by Oscar Magnuson. Haven't touched yet on the leading scorers for the Zephyrs, as it's actually Oscar Magnuson, whose name we haven't said a ton in this game, but he's been leading the charge thus far for Mahtomedi. They have a fairly balanced offense attack, actually, as they have a number of players who have 3 goals, a bunch with 2. Magnuson has 5 goals for them in 3 games played, and Eric Butke, another guy whose name we haven't said a ton, with 4 goals for the Zephyrs. As working things around from behind the net and bringing it out front for the Zephyrs is none other than Jackson Johnson. He kicks off the scoring for the second half, and the Zephyrs finally get another goal. So beautiful play there, as there's some quick passing from the Zephyrs and working it around the outside of the net and bringing it up almost in a wraparound, not quite in that style, but bringing it around and slinging it in. Only a minute and 2 seconds in to this quarter, and the Zephyrs are back to being 1 goal down. So Johnson with his 3rd goal of the game. Working it back into the Mahtomedi zone now, and just trying to walk all the way down into the front of the net is Carver, the defenseman actually for the Cadets, getting into the offensive side of things. Mad scramble for the ball here, and Carver will wind up with it again. He's got a couple of open teammates there in the middle of the field, and they're finally able to connect and slowly work their way into the Zephyr zone. Shot fired on there by Charlie Ute, and he is decked by Dominic Rohrer, and the save is made by Caden Donahue as he slides, scoops up the ball, and will work things back the other way for Mahtomedi. Looking to do it all by himself and charging into the zone there for Mahtomedi. Didn't quite catch the number, and I think he's subbing out right now too, in fact, as couldn't quite make out who that was, but somebody on the Mahtomedi sidelines raced off for a substitution and then went down in a heap and is now bent over, maybe scraped up a little bit on that play. Could also just be winded from having charged all the way down the field as well. Mahtomedi working things around now, tried to center it, couldn't quite get it to go. And the ball scooped back up there by Max Camden for the Cadets. Mad scramble. We got 4 Zephyrs, we got 5 Cadets. Players all over the place, and somebody comes away with the ball. That's Sam Fulton for the Cadets. Meisterling now ends up with the ball for St. Thomas, as we have a penalty coming here. And I'm not sure which team will be a man short. I have to think that it's Mahtomedi because the whistle didn't come until after a few seconds that St. Thomas Academy had possession. Looking to the sidelines, I believe, yes, it looks like there's a Mahtomedi player that's taken a knee. I think that is the proverbial penalty box that he has to sit in. So the Zephyrs will be a man down here for a little bit. a minute, in fact. St. Thomas Academy will look to push things back to a 2-goal lead. And they'll start with the ball. There's a lot of yelling going on. People seem to be confused about where this is supposed to start after the penalty is called. The ref pointing. Oh, they were just looking to get a ball out of play. So things will start, it looks like, at midfield here for St. Thomas as Ute will, or not? He changed his mind? No, it's over on the side here. Okay, here we go. Here we go. It's Stahl. Carter Stahl for the Cadets will start things off. There we go. Penalties are so much easier to figure out in hockey. Now, of course, both of these teams also staples in the hockey world. St. Thomas Academy, by their standards, kind of had a little bit of a down year, finishing 500. But Mahtomedi once again made it to the State Boys A tournament. Ultimately made it to the semifinals before they lost to Warroad, but definitely gave them all they could handle as that game went to overtime. But here in Lacrosse now, it's the Cadets who are a man up, as they'll sling the ball around the zone and take advantage of the extra man situation. They try to get there. Ooh, a nice reach there. That stick kind of just seemed to come out of nowhere, and the Mahtomedi defender, that's Rorik, will race all the way down the field and dish it off. Great play there from Rorik. We've been saying his name a lot. He's just been all over the zone for the Zephyrs, making sure that this stays a tight game and just making the most of the opportunity. It looks like the penalty time is now up, so the Zephyrs are back to full strength. And they will try to get possession here. Knapp will scoop it up in the corner, and he runs back out front. We'll try to do no backdoor pass. What a feed. Knapp to Jackson Johnson. Zephyrs tie it up. What a great play, as I thought there might be a shove that was called in the corner, and things were scooped up there by Knapp. And then after he scooped it up, I thought he was going to try and do it all himself. As he gets the ball, races out to the middle of the field, finds the man on the back door who had snuck out. And Jackson Johnson rifles it home past Meisterling to bring things even. So coming at the 4:22 mark, Jackson Johnson gets his 4th goal of the game. Those would also be his 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th goals on the season. As I go down to look at the statistics, and just like that, St. Thomas Academy is back out front. Well, that did not take very long at all. As 15 seconds later, it's Huzaby who is able to score for the Cadets. At the 4:37 mark, St. Thomas Academy pulls back out front as it's Huzaby who scores for the Cadets. Great answer for the Cadets there, not what the Zephyrs were hoping for, but it hasn't been the first time that the defense just kind of seems to be asleep at the wheel a little bit after a goal has happened. For Huzaby, that is his 1st goal in this game, but his 9th goal on the season. So 9 goals already in 4 games for Huzaby. Mahtomedi looks to try and center things back, but can't quite connect on the pass. So the Cadets will work it back down the field. Oh, big hit there in the middle of the field as a centering pass was made. But for Mahtomedi, it looked to be Sean Crothers, I believe, who said absolutely not, as the pass looked to go to the middle, but he was right there and laid out the attacker for the Cadets. But it's still the Cadets who will take over and work things into the Mahtomedi zone. tight one here with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, as things have been pretty back and forth all game long. Mahtomedi started out with a quick lead. St. Thomas Academy answered. Mahtomedi had the lead for a while, but then it was the second quarter that made the difference, as there were 3 Cadets goals to 1 for Mahtomedi, so it was 6-4 St. Thomas at the half. And now, just over the halfway mark here in the third quarter, we've had 2 goals from Mahtomedi and 1 goal from St. Thomas Academy. It stands at 7-6. That shot sailed wide. And it looks like St. Thomas Academy will get to retain possession. Kind of funny to see the goalie Donahue racing after that ball to try and get possession for the Zephyrs, but ultimately he was not able to get there first. So the Cadets will set things up as Huseby looks to work it down. Hudson tries to bring it in, is unsuccessful, so he'll send it back up top. The fans love the defense there, as an errant pass was forced, and Mahtomedi will take over. As his Rohrer will bring things down the field. He'll look to try and bring it all the way himself, but is unable to do so as he's deterred. So a couple of quick passes. Ooh! Cross-check there comes from Jordan Wolden. It looks like we will, in fact, get a penalty. Hasn't been blown yet. I believe that St. Thomas will need to get possession here, as there's actually 2 flags on the field, so they definitely picked that up. So as soon as St. Thomas Academy gets possession, and there it is, we will get a penalty here, and the Cadets will be 1 man down. Looked like it might have been on the cross-check that happened at midfield there, as 2 referees were able to pick it up. We've got laundry all over the place here. Heading off the field for the Cadets is Jordan Wold, the junior defenseman. And it looks like he'll be the one to take a knee for the Cadets. He'll sit for a minute. We'll have 6 Zephyrs attacking against 5 Cadets. Starting things off here for Mahtomedi is Magnuson. Magnuson, the freshman, will work it around at the top with Zell. They'll play catch. And he'll get it back over to Wendorf. Working it behind the net now is Dimitri. Dimitri back to Wendorf. Gets it out front to Zell. Zell fires and it goes wide. Steady rain continues to fall here at George Smith Field. As well, that windmill continues to churn rather quickly. It's actually a lot slower than it was before, so the wind not as much of a factor as it was, but definitely some unpleasant weather. At least it's not super cold, though, out there. I suppose it's easy for me to say here in the press box, but the point is it could be a lot colder. At least it's not snowing, am I right? So the Zephyrs now work it around the top as they'll keep the extra man possession going. Correction, we actually have 6 defenders back on the field for the Cadets, so it's even strength. But Mahtomedi is still hanging on to the offensive possession as a retain of that. Oh my goodness, we get a bunch of hacking and whacking and sticks being thrown. Oh my goodness. Laundry is all over the place. We've got 3 flags on the field. As that is Hunter Carver for the Cadets. He'll get a talking to from head coach Frank Clark for the Cadets. That was about as ruthless of a play as I've ever seen in one of these lacrosse games. At first, it was a shove to the ground. Then it was followed by a stick whack, and then he just kind of seemed to keep going at it, trying to pry the ball out of there. And the referees certainly weren't having that. So Hunter Carver will take a knee for the Cadets. Mahtomedi once again will get the man-up offensive possession. See, this is the thing that it just amazes me about lacrosse. All this is going on the offensive side, and on the other side of the field, the defenders and St. Thomas Academy offensive guys are just chilling, talking to each other, hamming it up. Probably talking about who they're going to ask to prom or something like that. All right, so the Zephyrs will work it around the top of the key. Can't quite find anything yet, but they'll be content to take this nice and slow as they look for the opportunity here. Shot fired wide there from Nolan Dimitri. Couldn't quite go. Possession is in fact retained as the ball comes back out now. Tried to sling it to the middle, couldn't find it there. Backdoor pass wasn't open, but the ball will in fact be scooped up. Dimitri working it around the front. Decides against it, instead dishes it off to his teammate Wendorf. Wendorf now will play catch. That's Oscar Magnuson with Wendorf. Ooh. They wanted the pass in the middle there. I could hear him yelling all the way from up there. That's Eric Butke who wanted it, and he got it, but the defenders closed on him very fast and didn't give him much of an opportunity. So now St. Thomas Academy, for the first time in a few minutes, will look to work things back onto their offensive side of the field. Still a man down for the time being. But they still do manage to get possession. Whistle blown here. And we get a change of possession as Mahtomedi will get the ball back. And they tried to sling it all the way down the field, but weren't quite able to do so as we get a dash. A couple of cadets and Zephyrs scramble for it. Scooping it up there for Mahtomedi. Ultimately coming away with it is Jack Zell. He'll try to slip and dance his way around two cadets defenders. Zell dishes it now, working their way towards the net. All back door. What a great pass. Scoring for Mahtomedi is none other than Jackson Johnson with his 5th goal of the game. And we are finally all tied up. That was a beautiful backdoor feed from the Zephyrs there as they had a set play, worked it down the right side of the Cadets' goal, slung it all the way across the net, and they take advantage. So just like that, the game is dead even for the first time since the second quarter. The 3:56 mark of the second quarter was the last time we were scored. Since then, St. Thomas took a 6-4 lead. Oh, correction. I apologize. I'm all over the place. My mistake. I forgot. It was 6-4 at the half, and then Mahtomedi came out, tied things up. St. Thomas answered, that's right, with that quick goal. And now Mahtomedi has things square again. So it was 6-4, then 6-6, 7-6, and now 7-7. I apologize on that. Can't even read my own notes. It's too much chicken scratch. So St. Thomas Academy will work it around the offensive zone as we get to the final minute of the third quarter. Ooh, shot there from Matt Hudson, couldn't quite go. That just went barely, narrowly wide of the goal, but the Cadets will retain possession as they work things around behind the net. Nice man on defense here working for Mahtomedi at the moment as they're keeping things outside. A shot from way out wide as the Cadet slips and falls, and Donahue comes away with the ball. as he'll pass it up for Mahtomedi now. I think the pass from Donahue went well across the field as we get a big save here. Donahue went down, makes the save. We've got a penalty coming here as there was a slash from St. Thomas Academy that will be called as soon as they get possession, but we get a mad scramble, and we'll see if they can even get possession before the end of the quarter. And we get the call on the penalty here. It was definitely a slash on St. Thomas Academy as the stick wailed on the Mahtomedi defenders. And we'll get a cadet, I believe, that goes and sits. At least I thought that's what it was. No? I guess it was a Mahtomedi player. That's interesting because the whistle, Mahtomedi had possession after the flag was thrown. And yet for some reason the whistle didn't come until possession. Well, at first it was Mahtomedi, and then they got possession again, and then the whistle was blown. But in any case, it's St. Thomas Academy who comes away with the possession. And that's how the third quarter will end. So the Cadets will get a man up to begin the fourth quarter as things are all knotted up. Scoring recap there for that third quarter. It was Mahtomedi's Johnson who scored twice to make it 6-6. And then it was Huzaby for the Cadets that put them back on top 7-6. And then Johnson again had a hat trick alone in the third quarter. And that is where we stand headed into the final frame. Upcoming broadcasts here on SEC Sports throughout the month of May. Next Monday, we'll bring you girls lacrosse, Tartan North, taking on Robbinsdale Cooper. And then we'll get another edition of Mahtomedi and St. Thomas Academy, as for the first time in a very long time, we bring you a baseball game from right over there at Mahtomedi baseball field that we can see. Followed by another first in a long time softball, as we get the District 622 rivalry in softball. All of this, of course, weather pending, as goodness knows Mother Nature hasn't been our biggest fan throughout the spring season. Then we'll have girls lacrosse, one of our favorite rivalries as two of our teams square off, White Bear Lake and Mahtomedi in the Battle of the Lake. And then hopefully we'll be able to bring you some section action to round out our schedule. And that will be the conclusion of the 2021-2022 school year by the time we get to the end of May. After that, we'll start bringing you graduations for Mahtomedi, Tartan, White Bear Lake, Century College. All of the schools that we cover here in the Cable Commission area. Coming up for Mahtomedi going forward after this game, the Zephyrs next week have games Monday, Tuesday, and Friday as they'll take on Northfield, Two Rivers, and Hastings. For the Cadets, they will not play again until next Friday when they have a conference matchup against Simley. So starting off the fourth quarter, St. Thomas Academy will get the offensive possession as they stay a man up. 6-on-5 here for another few seconds. I'd have to think it's probably about 50 seconds or so time total unless they score. So they will continue to work it around the offensive zone, but a nice steal there from Dom Rohrer for the Zephyrs, and Donahue will be content to just chuck it all the way down the field and kill some of the time off of this man-up situation. And Jack Zell for the Zephyrs there will work things around. He'll continue to kill time. And the time, in fact, has been killed. So we're now back to even strength for both teams. And Mahtomedi will set up their regular offensive possession as Zell does it all. Jack Zell brought the ball into the zone, worked his way around the entire St. Thomas Academy zone, weaved his way through 2 defenders, brought it in all by himself, gives Mahtomedi their first lead since way back in the first quarter.
Strike for Mahtomedi. Number 2, Jack Zell.
So at the 56-second mark here of the fourth quarter, Mahtomedi finally gets a lead. They've been pecking and clawing and scratching their way, trying to get back into this thing. And now they finally have their first lead since way back in the first quarter when they were leading 3-2. For Zell, that'll be his first goal of the game. Correction, actually, that'll be his second goal of the game. He scored way back in the first quarter. The very first goal of this game came from Jack Zell. So that'll be second goal of the game, fourth goal of the season for the senior. I'd have to think Mahtomedi now will probably look to slow things down a bit and take their time on these offensive possessions now that they finally have a lead again. They won't want to rush things too much and risk causing a turnover, because throughout this game we've seen that the Cadets certainly are able to answer quickly. As there's been a number of times that goals have been scored within 4 seconds of goals, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. There's always seemed to have been answers. Ball goes out of bounds and we get a turnover as the clock will run and St. Thomas will work their way into the offensive zone. Working it around behind the net there is Zweifel. Colton Zweifel dished it off, and now we get an exchange of players. And the Cadets will work it into the Zephyr zone. A little bit of a give and go there, but a great save comes from Caden Donahue. And Mahtomedi will retain possession, sling it across the 50-yard line, and just like that, they're back to working on the offensive side of things. Things certainly slowed down here for the Cadets as their 3 mids just worked it around for a little bit. They rushed in, just as I say that, they rushed in, tried to get a shot off, and now going back the other way once again are the Cadets. That's Charlie Ute, who looked like he was going to try and do it all for them, but instead he will pass it off. Ute slowing things down, letting players swap on the fly for St. Thomas Academy. Zweifel works it back around the net. Ooh, shot there comes from the Cadets. Can't quite make out the number because I have the rain droplets on my window, so everything's smeared there and all the way on the far side of the field, so I couldn't quite make out who that was for St. Thomas Academy, but nonetheless, they'll retain possession. As Stanley now, maybe the first time I've said his name this game. Stanley, a pass out front, shot, score. Charlie Ute. We are tied back up. Donahue looked like he was expecting that shot to go low as he kind of slid down, but instead the pass came from out of the corner, out to the front of the net. Ute found himself wide open in the slot. Made no mistake about that one, going top shelf. And we are tied up once again. Pass, shot, score. Beautiful mechanics there from the Cadets. Little bit of a defensive mishap for the Zephyrs. And we are back to being all knotted up. That goal coming at the 3:31 mark of the fourth quarter for the Cadets. Ute with his first goal of this game. as the Zephyrs work it back into the offensive zone for Ute. That will be his 4th goal on the season. Ooh, big cross check laid there from Mahtomedi. No flags are thrown, or we do get one. We do get one on the far side of the field. I didn't see that one. Interesting that the call came in from all the way across the field when there was a referee right here in front of the play that was happening, and he didn't make the call. But instead, it's the referee on the far side who makes the call. Mahtomedi will be 1 player short. There'll be 5 defenders, and St. Thomas Academy will get 6 attackers as they look to take the lead again. And now we get a timeout here, so it looks like Coach Nerrell will want to think things over for Mahtomedi, as this will be a crucial defensive possession for the Zephyrs. So he'll want to talk things over, make sure that they get things set up. Because every goal here in the 4th quarter with 7:48 remaining is going to be a big goal. This has been back and forth, and you want to be the team to get that next goal to go ahead so you have a little bit of room to work with. So recapping how things have gone thus far, 16 goals scored total in this game. In the 1st quarter, it was Mahtomedi Zell who struck first, followed by 2 goals from Hudson for St. Thomas Academy, 2 goals for Johnson on Mahtomedi, and then an answer from St. Thomas Academy. So at the end of the 1st quarter, we had a 3-3 tie. In the 2nd quarter, it was the Cadets who got 3 goals from Bond, Hudson, and I didn't quite catch the last one. Mahtomedi got a goal from Owen Knapp. So at halftime, it was a 6-4 St. Thomas Academy lead. Then Mahtomedi came out hot in the 3rd quarter, and they answered in kind and got 3 goals, all from Johnson. That's Jackson Johnson getting 3 goals in the 3rd quarter for Mahtomedi. 1 goal from Huzabi for St. Thomas Academy. And then in the 4th quarter, we've had 1 goal apiece, and here we stand at 8-8. So starting the possession off for St. Thomas Academy now was Charlie Ute. He's kind of been the between Ute and Hudson. They've headmanned up the ball a lot for the Cadets. Great defensive play there from Mahtomedi. Causes a turnover, and they will get a possession. So this is huge for the Zephyrs, because if they can just sling this around for a while, they can at least get to the point where they get that man back and look to have an even offensive possession of their own. Ball slung out of bounds there, and that's a big mistake for the Zephyrs, as they weren't able to kill off. You can see the man there still taking a knee on the Zephyr sideline. So now St. Thomas Academy will get the offensive possession right back, look to take advantage of their extra man situation. Ute now works it at the top for the Cadets. He got it back over to Hudson. A shot looked like it ricocheted off of somebody's foot, and that goes all the way out of bounds. Donahue has been solid for the Zephyrs all night, making stops left and right. He's had sliding stops, jump stops. He's been flying around all over the place, real solid in net for the Zephyrs. Pass from behind the net from Zweifel came out, and that shot was fired wide. So the Cadets will look to bring it back out. That's Bond now, who will get it back to Zweifel. Zweifel looked like he wanted to play catch with Bond, but decided against it. Back out top, and another shot that goes wide. Zweifel will retain possession again. Ooh, same exact play 3 times in a row for St. Thomas Academy. All 3 times the shot has sailed wide, so Zweifel once again will bring it back out. This time he'll try to do it himself with the wraparound, but Donahue had the answer. Ooh, and Mahtomedi gets possessed. The crowd loves it. There were 3 cadets chasing after that ball and 1 Mahtomedi defender. Great effort there from Beiersdorf, it looks like. So Mahtomedi gets possession right back. Donahue slings the ball all the way down, and Rorik will bring it in. He charges down for the Zephyrs. Quick shot, and the save is made by Meisterling. The Cadets get possession back after a turnover. But Mahtomedi scoops it right back up, jumping over a St. Thomas defender. Didn't quite catch the number there. Things are getting more and more tricky as the shots go back into the stadium lights. The reflection from the rain droplets makes it tricky to see some of the numbers. But we're doing our best for you here on a drizzly Friday night in Mahtomedi, Minnesota. Our camera guys are doing great up there, doing the best work they can. Doing awesome stuff following the ball. It's a tight one here at George Smith Field. 8-8, knotted up, back and forth affair between these 2 Metro East rivals as we come down the final stretch with under 5 minutes to go. And Mahtomedi gets possession, and they'll look to bring it out as the ball is slung all the way to midfield, and a big hit there is laid down from Brooks Bond on the Mahtomedi attacker. No, nothing is called, but now something is. And now another flag is thrown as a chop was taken on a Mahtomedi player. He got hacked in the leg. Didn't quite catch the number there. That is Oscar Magnuson for the Zephyrs, as he took a good chop to the leg right about the knee area, and he's going to be assisted off the field by the training staff of the Zephyrs. There's not a pretty play right there at all. At first it started off with a big hit at center field that I thought might be called because the Cadet defender kind of lingered a little bit over the Zephyr player. And then as it got worked into the zone, I saw Magnuson tried to scoop up the ball, and the Cadet that was going for it as well took a hack, but instead of going for the ball, he instead caught the leg of Magnuson. Magnuson goes down in a heap. And now the referees are going to talk about this. Perhaps more could be coming. St. Thomas will for sure be a man down, as Brooks Bond takes a knee. So Mahtomedi will have an extra man opportunity. I'm just not quite sure if something further is being discussed from the referees. Perhaps if he will go for longer than the typical minute extra man period. I'm seeing... Oh, there's 5 defenders out there right now for St. Thomas Academy, plus the goaltender, as they talk with the ref to try and figure out the situation. In any case, we know it should be for at least a minute an extra man for the Zephyrs, as they will start things off from the near side of the field. It is St. Thomas Academy was awarded possession. Not quite sure how that works. Ooh, shot from behind the net from St. Thomas Academy goes to Colton Zweifel, and Zweifel fires it home, and just like that, the Cadets have the lead. So much for Mahtomedi being able to take advantage of the man-up situation. I'm not quite sure, honestly, why the Cadets started with the ball there, because every other man-up possession has been Mahtomedi starting with it. But in any case, You see the pass went behind the net to Huseby. Huseby caught it, dished it right away to Zweifel, and Zweifel gives the Cadets the lead with 4:15 to go here in the fourth quarter. So coming at the 7:45 mark, that is Zweifel for the Cadets. I believe that's his first goal of the game. And for Zweifel, that would be his fourth of the season, if it is in fact his first of the game. The refs will have a chat here now. So the Mahtomedi fans are really laying into the referees. Not quite sure what they're arguing about. Perhaps about the possession and how that worked out, but nonetheless, we have a 9-8 game as things start to come down the stretch. If there's one thing we've learned from this game, though, is there could be only 10 seconds on the clock, and that would be more than enough for somebody to score. Heck, we've had a goal that came just 4 seconds after someone scored. Errant pass there from Mahtomedi goes sailing out of bounds. We get a couple of exchanges, and St. Thomas Academy will get possession going the other way. So now it's Meisterling who will play catch with his fellow defender. Kohler sends it down, but a turnover there. Can it be scooped up? No. Looked like St. Thomas Academy was going to be the team to scoop it up. But instead, it's Mahtomedi who gets possession after the ball goes out of bounds, and it's Zell who will headman the offensive possession for Mahtomedi. Now it's Wendorf who dishes it down low. Wendorf gets it back, loads up, fires, goes wide. Johnson was the first one there. So Mahtomedi will get possession right back. Not a great pass there, but Zell's able to scoop it. Good to see Magnuson back out there now after he had that injury before. So he seems to be doing all right. Wendorf will fire again, and he scores! It's Wendorf. He tried that shot just a moment ago. It didn't work, but he got it right back again, and we are all knotted up. That's Wendorf for the Zephyrs at the 8:05 mark to make this a 9-9 game.
Number 9, Isaac Wendorf. Assisted by number 16, Nolan Dimitri. Time of the goal, 2:55 of the fourth quarter.
Oh, correction, 9:05. That's my apologies. Math is hard. The 9:05 mark, that's Wendorf for Mahtomedi. Wendorf with his first of the game for the Zephyrs. So on the season for him, that'll be his fourth goal. And we are all tied up once again with just under 3 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. As the rain continues to fall at a steady pace, the referees trying to chat with the scorekeepers. No, they'll talk to each other for a moment, try to figure out a situation. There's still a cadet who's taking a knee, by the way, so they are a man down still from that play that happened on Oscar Magnuson when he took a chop to the legs. Face-off controlled by Mahtomedi, as scooping it up is Beiersdorf, and he will carry it into the offensive zone. Magnuson will slow things down and headman this possession for Mahtomedi. Wendorf and Magnuson play a little bit of catch, coming back over here to the near side of the field. That's Zell. Magnuson, Wendorf. Down low, Wendorf gets it right back. Magnuson now. will dish it off to teammate Cruzy. Cruzy slings it down, and they'll try working the left side, but not much doing there for Zell. Trying to set up a play in the middle, and that didn't go. Getting first attempt, no. Rebound, no. Goes wide, but the Zephyrs will retain possession as Jackson Johnson is the first one there. So the Zephyrs will set it up once again, swing it around the perimeter. Wendorf tries the same shot that he scored on a moment ago. That didn't go, but the rebound is scooped up there by Dimitri. Jack Zell, Magnuson, Dimitri goes wide, and possession's awarded to the Cadets. So St. Thomas will get a good chance here, as they'll be able to start with the ball from behind their net. Meisterling will look to bring it out. It's been a while since St. Thomas has had any sustained offensive time. Things have really been back and forth in that regard. We haven't seen any part of the game where one team has had extended amounts of time in the offensive zone. You could probably say in each of the quarters, in the second quarter when St. Thomas scored 3 times, and in the third quarter when Mahtomedi scored 3 times, that they each had their fair share of opportunities there, but it has definitely been evenly balanced as the score dictates. 9-9 with it 1:16 to go here. Big timeout, big moment here for the coaches to talk things over with their players, try and set things up. Frank Clark, the head coach for the Cadets. And first-year head coach Michael Narrow for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Previously, it had been Pete Moosebrugger for a long time that led the Zephyrs. But now it's Michael Narrow who will draw things up for them. Here with an offensive possession for the Cadets, I would expect things to stay up top, as that has seemed to work for them the most. I would be looking for them to try and get something set up from Matt Hudson. Or perhaps Brooks Bond or Charlie Ute. Charlie Ute, Brooks Bond, and Matt Hudson are the 3 names I've been saying regularly throughout this game, so I expect to see those 3 possess it a bunch at the top of the key. But with 1:16 to go here, I would almost certainly believe that St. Thomas Academy is going to be content to keep things slow and try and wait for somewhat of a final shot. Obviously, they want enough time that they can get multiple attempts if they need to, but I would imagine they don't want to leave a bunch of time on the clock here after they get a shot off. So starting things for the Cadets is Carter Stahl. Stahl will get it to Ute over to Hudson. So those 3 probably will hang on to it at the top here. And then down low for them, they have Stanley, Alex Stanley, that is. Definitely slow, methodical, taking their time. Now trying to work it in is Huzaby. Huzaby couldn't quite get a clean pass to Zweifel. Zweifel now will slow it down. Definitely seem to be looking for just one shot here, but an errant pass will come all the way out to midfield. Goes out of bounds. Possession is awarded to Mahtomedi. So Mahtomedi comes charging in. They need a goal. They need it fast. 23 seconds to go. Coming in was Pagansky. Timeout taken by Mahtomedi. So the Zephyrs get the ball back. They have a successful defensive possession, as their players are congratulated as they come off the field. They did their job. Mahtomedi gets the ball back, force a turnover and then get the ball back. They start to work their way down the field, and they get a timeout. So now in the huddle there, you see Jackson Johnson, you see Oscar Magnuson, and Jack Zell, the big 3 who have done just about everything for Mahtomedi this game. They'll look to set up something pretty here, try and get an open look, and give Mahtomedi a goal with 21 seconds to go. Johnson has been the big man this game for Mahtomedi, absolutely no doubt, as he has 5 of the 9 goals for the Zephyrs. On the flip side, things have kind of been spread out for St. Thomas Academy. You had, well, 3 goals, a hat trick for Hudson, and a goal from Bond. You have a goal from Huzaby, Ute, a little bit of everything, but here we go. Coming out of the timeout, the ball will start for Mahtomedi deep in the zone with the referee standing next to, at about the 10-yard line. The referee standing next to Jackson Johnson there as he will get things started. Swings it up. Working around his Zell. Zell has to go fast. Runs all the way around his defender. He's looking for a shot. Can't quite get it. Closest to the ball there was Butke. That was an interesting play for the Zephyrs as he was, I mean, everybody knew he was going to swing it. Here we go. Trying to get out front. Pass goes up. That's Wendorf. Wendorf goes in, fires. Big save. Coming back around, another shot. Big save. And time runs out. So we will get overtime. As at the end of regulation, it's all tied up 9-9, and we will head to overtime. Oh, baby. So to recap how we got to this point, in the first quarter, things ended up 3-3. 3 goals from Mahtomedi. Zell, Johnson, 3 from St. Thomas Academy. Second quarter was 3-1 in favor of St. Thomas Academy. So at the half, it was 6-4. This has been back and forth the entire time. No team has ever led by more than 2 goals throughout this entire game. 6-4 at halftime. Then Mahtomedi comes out and ties things up 6-6 after a pair of goals from Johnson. St. Thomas Academy answers from Huzaby. Then Mahtomedi gets one from Johnson again to knot things up at 7. Then here in the fourth quarter, it's been a pair of goals from both teams. Mahtomedi takes the lead. St. Thomas Academy answers. St. Thomas Academy takes the lead. Mahtomedi answers. Just like that, we've been back and forth, back and forth. It's almost expected that we're going to overtime. It just makes complete sense. The way this game has gone, how it's been tight the entire time. Great defense, great goaltending. Lots of blocked shots, lots of turnovers. A fair amount of penalties. And on a rainy night here in Mahtomedi, Minnesota at George Smith Field, we will be getting overtime. So the players will meet center field to go over the overtime rules with the referees. This is certainly a high-stakes game, folks. Conference matchup. A game that Mahtomedi, if they win, it will be the first time in 4 meetings with the Cadets. The Cadets, of course, looking for their 4th straight win over Mahtomedi, and they're hoping to get to 500 on the season. Mahtomedi wants to maintain their position in the top 10 rankings and move to 4-1 on the season. So out at center field for Mahtomedi, you see Jack Meyer, Owen Knapp, the goaltender Caden Donahue, and Dominic Rohrer. Tom Rohrer has quietly been one of the MVPs for the Zephyrs in this game. Seems like every time that there's been a turnover in the Mahtomedi defensive zone, it was because Rohrer was involved in some way. He's been at the center of that defense, keeping the Cadets out of the middle of the field. And he has certainly done his part to keep them in this game, get things knotted up. So here we go. 5 minutes are on the clock for overtime. The ball is faced off, and we are underway into a kicking attempt there from Mahtomedi. What? The St. Thomas Academy players are celebrating emphatically. That was peculiar. I believe a timeout was called, but the St. Thomas Academy players were celebrating. I mean, there's really no other way. They were celebrating like crazy. It must have just been for the change of possession. I think they must have just been happy by the fact that they got the ball in the Mahtomedi end of things. I must say, I'm not sure whether or not that this is a golden goal situation. I don't know if scoring the first goal means you win the game or if they play the full 5 minutes. But either way, if you score, it's going to be huge. Because the way this game has gone, it hasn't always been easy to answer. Sometimes it has been. For the most part, it's been an absolute battle to get anything past either of these goalies. It's been lockdown defense. Good goaltending both ways, and a 9-9 game. So St. Thomas Academy does have possession. They'll work it down from the 30-yard line to behind the net. That's stall for the Cadets. He brings it around, fires, and there it is. I would say it's definitely a golden goal. The St. Thomas Academy players are celebrating emphatically. That is Matt Hudson with his 4th goal of the game, and he is absolutely loving it as he is mobbed by the entirety of the St. Thomas Academy Cadets, and they are certainly enjoying themselves a tight, humongous 10-9 victory over the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. My goodness, what a goal. Just 20 seconds into overtime, that's all it took. The Cadets brought the ball out. They worked it behind the net. Hudson collected the pass, and he was able to rifle it past Donahue, and just like that, it's a victory for St. Thomas Academy. So the Cadets get their 4th in a row over Mahtomedi. They moved to 2-2 on the season, and Mahtomedi drops to 3-2 on the year. This is a huge win for St. Thomas Academy as they knock off ranked Mahtomedi and certainly make a name for themselves, and they'll look to continue to do so as their schedule doesn't get much easier throughout the year. Mahtomedi will look to bounce back in their next game as they take on Northfield next Monday. What a game tonight from George Smith Field as St. Thomas Academy takes the 10-9 win over the Mahtomedi Zephyrs in Metro East boys lacrosse action. For Arlen Becker, I'm David Schuyler. In the truck doing audio, Stephen Adams. On camera, we had Ian Felix and Miranda Zabel. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us on this rainy Friday night from Mahtomedi. Once again, the St. Thomas Academy Cadets 10 and the Mahtomedi Zephyrs 9. So long, everyone. Have a great weekend.